So yeah, then we'll do that. All right, now that I got some volume. Hey there, welcome to our public access cable show, Milty's World. Today, I just wanted to come and talk about some random thing. How about let's talk about how I got into like rock music, for example. So I started out. I listened to this guy named Carmen when I was a little kid. Carmen was a Christian contemporary artist who did a lot of songs that were like story-driven songs, and they had one song called "The Champion," and just really looking back on it, like it's nostalgic and stuff. Whenever I was a kid, it was the coolest thing ever, but it was really like corny. But I didn't think it was corny, and as an adult, I mean, I guess I don't think it's, now I think it's corny. That's what I'm trying to say. So like, then I got into like Michael W. Smith and Stephen Curtis Chapman and stuff. And in case you didn't know, I was a pastor's son growing up, so like mostly was only Christian music that I listened to, and then my aunt gave me the Jesus Freak album from DC Talk, and that literally blew my mind. And just listening to that music and hearing the way that that sounded and that came across, like that was all I cared about after that. I wanted to hear rock music. So then I got somehow came across this Eric Champion CD, which was mostly synthesizers and stuff, but it was still kind of that rock feel. And then Jars of Clay had this album out with a song called Flood on it, and that actually got some like big popularity. And so like I was getting a little bit more mature musically around age 10. And then about 12 or so, I picked up a Tooth and Nail sampler CD with people like MXPX, and I wish I had it. I wish I had it because it had so many different artists on it. Some guy named Sup the Chemist was one of the rappers on there. Slick Shoes was on there. Friggin' Fan Mail was on there. I don't remember everybody, but there was a lot of really cool artists on that one. And so yeah, that kind of got me into a little bit harder edge music. I think the OC Supertones might have been on that one. Maybe not. I don't know. Then they had like another sample. See, that was the softer side. Then they had another compilation. They were like $2 each. And on the other one's the harder side. And it had people like Project 86. Dude, Project 86 was like way, way heavy for me at that time. Like, I think the hardest thing on that little compilation that I liked was like, what was the band's name? I can't remember the name of the band for the life of me. The Deadliners, or the Deadlines. If you know better than what I'm saying, comment and tell me what I'm saying wrong. But it's definitely the Deadlines or Deadliners, and they were like this like gothic punk band at the Christian bookstore, totally legit. And they they had this song called "Go to the Graveyard," and it was pretty cool. It's kind of like maybe like the Strokes or something like that as far as sound goes. But Project 86 was pretty cool. And then like I got the OC Supertones. And at some point there I found MXPX. And MXPX is slowly going the way of the Buffalo album. I guess that was the first album that they had that was it on Tooth and Nail, or maybe it was. I can't remember, but it was like shortly after that they split. But that album was it, dude. Like, I was really interested in learning to play music at that time. I was actually taking piano lessons from the time I was about 8 years old, and I kept taking piano lessons most of my life. But I really wanted to play the guitar, and I really wanted to play the drums. So I learned how to play the drums playing along with Yuri, and I learned how to play the bass guitar playing along with Mike. And I slowly picked up the guitar with the 6 strings and everything. It was a lot more than my mind could handle at the time. So yeah, I picked that up, and that album was instrumental in me learning how to play the bass and the drums. And over the years, those have been some staples in things that I've done. I've played the bass, and now I'm a guitar player, and I think I'm a pretty decent one. I did write the theme song for this show, so I'm proud of that. I could edit it a little better, and I think I will eventually. I'll get back into the program and kind of fix it up a little bit. I just kind of did it in a hurry because I wanted to get my first episode out. But yeah, that was that, and then I got POD. Snuff the Punk was the first one. Snuff the Punk. That wasn't their first album. That was my first POD album. And I thought that was cool because I didn't know I didn't realize that they were still developing as an artist at that point. But when Fundamental Elements of Southtown came out, that's whenever they like fully emerged. And Fundamental Elements of Southtown led to me loving heavy music. Like, the heavier, the better at that point. Just the raw emotion of it. And then, like, from there, I got into more punk music. I liked Hangnail. Hangnail, like, for some reason, just, like, those little, like, lightning fast riffs that they did were just off the charts. And now looking back at it, it's not even that difficult, but it sounded crazy to, 14, 15-year-old me. And then there was Reliant K was in the picture. And so like I slowly went through the punk music phase. And then around 18-ish, I didn't really get to go to the Christian bookstore as much anymore. For whatever reason, we just didn't go there because where we lived, I guess we didn't live close to one. So like I didn't have as much opportunity to listen to more bands. And then so like I started listening to radio music more and hanging out with, like other people and stuff. So like I started liking rap music and other things, and I still like rap music. I still love it. Kendrick Lamar is my favorite artist in the rap industry, and like he's just a poet. And my musical taste have expanded so much over the years because like I used to like hate country music and I actually like it a lot now. Depends on what it is, but I can appreciate most all of it and I like a lot of it. But yeah, from 18-ish, then like I did get to go to a POD concert whenever they were doing the satellite tour, and friend of mine had tickets and he's like, you want to go? And I was like, yes, I do want to go. And the cool thing about Sunny is like we went really early because we were nerds. And so like we got there, I don't even know what time of day it was, probably like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and they were about to do sound check actually. And so we went around to where the tour bus was and they had like barricaded off and stuff. And Sonny was actually walking upstairs. It was at this place called the Tabernacle in Atlanta, Georgia. He was walking up the stairs and we just like, we're like, hey, Sonny, what's up? And waved at him. And we just thought he was going to turn around and wave at us and like, that'd be it. But no, he was so cool. He literally came all the way down those steps and walked all the way across the parking lot, which was not a small parking lot, all the way over to where we were. And was like, hey guys, what's up? You guys just out here for the show? What's going on? It's good to see what you just hanging out, just being real chill, just being Sunny, because he's really the guy that you think he is. He's not pretending to be that guy. He's so legit. And that really just set in my heart, like how good of a person he was way back then, like probably 21, 22 years ago now. That's crazy. And then I recently, me and my wife actually got to go see them on the Satellite reunion tour, and they played that full album. That was such an awesome show. So then from that, I went to Cleveland, Tennessee, where I stayed for a year, and that's whenever I learned about Under Oath and Norma Jean, and my life changed forever because they were crazy. And then this little group called The Showdown, they kind of were just recorded their first album, I think, at that point. This is like 2004. Um, and some of the people that I was staying in the dorm with actually went over to Rocket Town, where they had just I guess they had just recorded that album that day, or like finished it up that day or whatever, and they played a show there that night. And my friend, who didn't even like that kind of music, was just coming back. He's like, "Dude, you got to hear this band. It's called The Showdown, and you would just love them. They're just amazing." And I'm like, had no idea what they were, or that I would like them, or anything about them, because at this point I still couldn't listen to them. And I was just like, okay, my buddy who only likes country music is telling me about The Showdown. They sound cool, but probably gonna be corny. We'll see. Well, they came out with that album, and maybe I don't know. I heard them somehow before the album came out. Either way, but like, so backtrack a little bit. I got a CD called Bailey Drive by this band that I had it in here the other day. I don't know where it is. If I could find it, I would just like hold it up. But then again, I might not be allowed to do that because of licensing. But anyways, Bailey Drive. They're from my hometown area of Albany, Georgia. And they were pretty cool. They were like young dudes, and kind of, to me, like the best thing that I could describe it was like kind of an Incubus-y kind of sound. I didn't know what emo was yet. I didn't know what screamo was yet. So it was like, I was like, okay, it kind of sounds like Blindside and Incubus mixed into something. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So I actually went with my friend Jonathan Reels, who was on the first episode. If you haven't seen that, you need to go back and watch it. It's an awesome episode. We have lots of fun stories that we tell. It's pretty epic. So yeah, there's that. So we went to that concert together, Bailey Drive, not Chasing Victory yet. So they were there, and then When Tomorrow Doesn't Come was there, and that's a band with a guy named Dean Atkinson. I think Waylon Day was in that one, and some other people. But they were like death metal, and I had never heard of death metal before, so I was kind of scared and quite uncomfortable. But long story short, I paid $2 for their little EP, and I listened to it, and I like wanted to like it. I really wanted to like it, and I didn't like it. But I like Dean. He was really cool. And so back to learn about Under Oath. And then Chasing Victory, and they actually were on the same label with, so Bailey Drive turned into Chasing Victory, if you've ever heard of them. Freaking amazing band. Great dudes. But so Chasing Victory hung out with Maylene and Sons of Disaster and The Showdown. And if I'm not mistaken, they were, at least The Showdown and Chasing Victory were on the same label, but I think Maylene may have also been on their label too. Dallas Taylor, freaking amazing frontman. He started out in Under Oath. At the time, I didn't even know that. But, so I got to go to some Chasing Victory shows whenever they were younger and still like just only had an EP. And I think The Showdown came to that one in my hometown one time. And my friend was like, it was like a youth group place where they had like a hangout. And she was like, if you come work the snack bar, you can get in for free. Because they just needed somebody to work the snack bar. And so they conned me into it, but I didn't want to pay, so I came. And I got up there and worked the snack bar. And like whenever people were playing, like nobody was coming to buy snacks. So like you could totally enjoy the show. And when The Showdown got on, like I just climbed up on top of the snack bar and was standing up there just headbanging and just pointing at David and like you know, he like would point at people in the crowd. So if you were pointing at him, he was pointing back at you, and it was fun. It was just crazy. So that was like my first actual time getting to see The Showdown. And man, can I tell you that they were literally my favorite band for a long time after that. And I still really love them. I actually got to go see them in October because they came to the town that I live in now. So that was cool. And yeah, so like got into all that. And around about that time, after I learned about Under Oath, I still wasn't married yet. I came home. I went to a lot of shows locally. There was bands like Save It for Sunrise and Um, Mayday Parade. I don't think before Mayday Parade formed, there was like a couple of other bands that they were made up of. I can't remember the name of those bands, but I feel like I saw them play before they became Mayday Parade. I know that. Anyways, the Lancasters both like they have bands. Go Radio, Save It for Sunrise dissolved, and then Go Radio came out. Save It for Sunrise was totally crazy band, especially for the age of the guys that were playing. Um, so yeah, I loved them, and let's see, there's just a lot of local bands. There was a band called Classic Addict. They were good. Uh, Our Finest Hour, is that right? I want to say it was Our Finest Hour. Anyway, Samuel Sanders though, his band, dude, they were so good. They reminded me a lot of uh, oh gosh, why is my mind coming up like the moon is down, the moon is down, heaven is. All right, let's see. Uh, Further Seems Forever. Is that right? What was that? Yeah, Further Seems Forever. And what else? Yeah, The Moon is Down is an amazing song, anyways, too. Further Seems Forever is a great band, but like I didn't even really know about emo at all back then. So like, funny story, I wanted to go to shows and didn't have a bunch of gas money, and I lived in a little town that was kind of far away from all the cool shows. So I either had to get a bunch of my friends to get together with me and give me gas money so we could go to these shows, or I could like we had like a theater in town or VFW or something like that, and we could rent it out. And there was enough people that liked some of these bands in the area that we could like totally con them into paying $10 to come and then pay the band something and then rent the venue and not make any money and have a good time. So like I called the manager the on the Chasing Victory EP, and I feel like it was like a relative of Adams or something. And I was just like, hey, I want to book them for the show. And he's like, why do you want to book them? They're not even going to draw that many people. I was like, man, we got the community theater. We could fill it up. We could pack it out. I was really hustling. I was trying to get it going. And he blew me off. I think he thought I was just some dumb kid, which I was such some dumb kid. I mean, I was barely older than anyone in the band. If I was even older than anyone in the band, I was like 20, 20, 21 tops. And he was like, why don't you get Copeland? And I was like, okay, I've heard of Copeland. I've never listened to Copeland. So then I found out, like, on MySpace, I looked up Copeland and I started listening to them. And that's kind of like the first time I, like, really listened to emo music. But I really liked it. And then I guess, like, MTV had, like, on MTV2, and they had, like, a lot of Headbangers Ball. So, like, I liked heavy music like that, too. But yeah, between the Buried in Me, just a lot of really cool bands that I used to love. Um, and I said all that. I don't know why I said all that, but I guess to give you some background about where I came from musically and what I like culturally. I did love Ludacris. Me and my buddy Jonathan used to sit in my car in the evenings after everybody was said and done. Like we would have gone, like if we did a lot of not one act, community, excuse me, my nose itches. We did a lot of community theater. And so like we would, after we got done practicing or whatever rehearsals, we'd go home and I'd take him to his house and we'd sit outside or after church or something or whatever. We'd sit outside his house for like 2 or 3 hours, just listen to the radio. And there's like one radio station that I could pick up was the rap station or the country station. And I hated country at the time, so it was going to be the rap station. And the later it got, like the raunchier the songs got. So like we would listen for hours and just laugh at like how ridiculous things could be on the radio, like what you could actually get away with saying. And So like, yeah, so we like to listen to obviously Lil Jon. Um, we like to listen to what's it? AT Aliens, Yin Yang Twins. We like to listen to um, Outcast. They were cool. Um, I did listen to some pop music, and I ain't gonna lie. Like I had the guilty pleasures. Everybody liked the Backstreet Boys, um, except for I guess some people that hate them. I don't know why. Then that's pretty much it. But I guess I really just wanted to talk about all that, and then talk about like what it felt like to go to shows. Um, because when I was that age, going to a show was like a spiritual experience. It was like you would be there with all these people, and they were all like-minded, they were all friendly, they were all cool, and they were like, you might look like you were gonna get your butt kicked, but you aren't gonna get your butt kicked. Everybody was getting along, everybody was having a good time. It was all about peace, love, and joy, and happiness, and equality, and unity, and love, and it's like, but it was genuine, it was real. Like there was no need to be anything special, or act any special kind of way, or like pretend. You're just good people. You just liked each other because who you are, and like live and let live, and love each other for who you are and what you do, and like just being yourself and stuff. Like it really felt like we were getting to a place where people would like just get along. And music would bring us all together, and like that feeling, especially when everybody knew some of the songs or all the songs, and everybody was singing together. Like, whether you're in a church or whether you're in a club, if you're all singing together, like you're striking this chord, and everybody's focused on the same energy and like the same passion, and like it's a spiritual moment. And like I've been in places where I felt the presence of God, that you would think that what is that? Like how could you feel God in that place? And it's like, you know what? It doesn't even matter if the band was supposed to be a religious band or not. Like just being there in that moment, somehow I felt that connection with the creator. And like, I mean, all creativity is inspired by God, right? So like, if you don't, I guess what I want to say with this is, if you don't have an outlet today, like if you used to like be into music and stuff and you don't have an outlet today, you need to try to find that outlet. Because I quit listening to music for a long time. I got really stressed out and just let life get in the way, um, to where I didn't even enjoy music. And I started like running towards this path of, this is the box you're supposed to fit into. This is what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And I was like, really like thought I was doing the right thing with my life, like, but I just seemed to keep working myself into the ground for nothing. And like, I could never get ahead. Um, I went to college and I had a college education, but like, I'm just not good at boring. I'm not good at boring. That's what it is. I need to be busy creating things. Um, and I think that most people really need to be creating. We get stuck in this lie that we have to just do this one thing and follow this one path, and that is work until you get old enough to retire, and then you retire right before you die. Like, yes, you should be working, but what are you working on? What does it matter? Is it bringing passion to you? Does it make you feel like that moment did in the pit when everybody was singing the chorus to your favorite hardcore song? Um, does it make you feel as alive as it did to dance in the pit, or like to push each other around and just feel alive? I mean, that's what we lived for when we were younger, like those experiences and that freedom. And if you are living in some type of bondage today, then like, why is that? Is it because you are not fulfilled with what you're doing for life? Like, are you happy with where you are as a parent? Um, like, I'm doing my best to try to be everything I can for my kids. And I know that I fail, um, you know, fairly enough. I mean, I think I'm doing a lot better than I used to be as far as like being present and like being there, a support system and stuff. Like I've never like neglected them, but at the same time, like, you can always do better, right? But I'm trying to do even better. And like, that's why I'm starting my podcast. Like I want to be there for them. And I just want to feel alive again. And I've not felt as alive as I do right now. Um, Creating all of this fun, uh, and just enjoying spending time with people and talking to people. And, um, yeah, like, I guess what I really want to say is like, remember where you came from and make sure that whatever you're doing today is working towards something that you're going to be proud of tomorrow. And if you're not, then like, it's really easy. I can contest, or not contest. I used to contest that that was not possible for me because I work too much. I do too much. I've got kids. I don't ever have time. But if you change your mindset and you say, I don't care if I don't get sleep. I don't care if whatever it takes, I have to do something that's important. If it's starting a business that you really have cared about, if it's creating a podcast show, or if it's writing music or writing a book, whatever it is that you need to do, just write down what it is you want to do. Write down that you've already done it, and then make a plan. That's where for the longest time, I never made a plan. I just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a podcast because I know a lot of really cool people, and I think that they would be willing to come on and talk to me and let me, pick their brain and learn from them. And people would think that they were interesting as well. And so I've got that going for me. So I should just start a podcast. I really do like to listen to podcasts, and sometimes I could be funny. So like, got that going for me. But I didn't make a plan. It's just like, okay, one day, well, guess what? If you say you're going to do it tomorrow doesn't ever come. It's never going to come. You're never going to get what you want. Nothing's ever going to happen. But if you stop right now, what you're doing, write it down. What do you want to do? Write it down that you have already done it. And then write down, what do I need to do to make that happen? One little thing every day. I literally started this one thing at a time. Now I've got all this stuff going, but it started with one thing at a time. I started off with, okay, if I'm going to do podcasts, then who's going to be on it? So I found out the people that I initially wanted to interview, and I contacted them, and a lot of them said, yeah. Okay, I've got this commitment now. I have to do it. They're all like, yes, I'm going to do it. Okay. So then I did have some equipment already. I had a microphone already because I record music and stuff. But like, I had to figure out what software I was going to use to record it. I found something that I would use to record it. Then I had to figure out, like, how do you produce it? Like how do you edit it? I found editing software. And all these things came together, but slowly. Like, I started planning this way back around November, and I just launched it in February, and it's still growing, and I'm still learning, and I'm still changing things. But all I'm telling you is if you haven't started doing something that you're passionate about, today's the day, dude. Just get on it. Thanks for listening. This has been fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the show. Tell your friends about it, because if you don't tell your friends about it, nobody's going to know about it. That's the only way that podcasts grow. People tell each other about them. And share it, Give me a 5-star review if you enjoy what you hear. And until next time, have a good night.